Now, when it comes to transporting your firearms from the house to the range, there are a lot of different options out there. Now, I've always used soft cases. But let's say you have a hunting trip planned and you got to fly there. Well, a soft case is not an option for you. Now, when it comes to lockable hard cases, there are a lot of good options out there. But even with those hard cases, there's still a big problem, and that's the foam padding inside. You either have to pluck the little squares out, or you have to cut the foam out for the firearm that you want to store in that case. And the problem with that is, you're stuck with that one firearm that you cut the foam out for, and over time, the foam is going to start to degrade. Now, another option you have is the Magpul option, which has the little grid blocks that you can move around, so you can use that for multiple firearms. But the problem even with the Magpul system is you still can't really fine-tune it for the rifle that you're going to put in that case. Well, I'm super excited to share a brand new product from a brand new company that is going to change everything when it comes to transporting your firearms. And that company is Corvus, USA. We're over on the other bench, and I want to go through these products real quick, and then I'm going to show you how everything works. Now, the first thing we got is our base pads. There's two of them here in this bag. This is what's going to go in the bottom of your case, and we're going to talk about case compatibility here in a little bit. So this is wrapped in a plastic bag, and inside the bag we've got our instruction sheet that shows us how all of this works inside the case. And they also included some targets, which is pretty cool. We also have this envelope, and inside that envelope we've got a sticker and a card that says thank you for purchasing the Talon Modular case system. Now, the next part of the system we're going to look at are the diamond blocks, and you get 4 of these in the bag. And this is what our diamond blocks look like. So this is the top of our block, and on the bottom we've got some Velcro material. And our next item is the Talon pistol seat, and same thing, you get 4 of these in the package. And this is what the pistol seat looks like. This is the top, and you've got the Velcro bottom. The next thing is the arrow block, and same thing, we get 4 of these in the package. This is what the top looks like, and you've got the Velcro on the bottom. And the last item is the AR-15 30 round mag rack. And this is what the top of the mag rack looks like. And on the bottom we've got that same Velcro. And here in a little bit we'll see what all mags work in this mag carrier. Now back to our base pad that goes in the bottom of our rifle case. As you can see here on the bottom, you can hide an Apple AirTag. And when you open this up, and this is where the Velcro comes into play. All right, let's talk about the case that we're going to be using to put this system in. This is the Plano 52-inch all-weather case. And I'm going to bring a list up on the screen of all the different cases this Talon system works with as of right now. And they will be adding more in the future. And Corvus USA was nice enough to loan me this case for this demo. But I have a feeling I'm going to really like this setup, so I'm probably going to end up picking one of these cases up for myself. Now, if you decide to pick up one of these Plano cases to use the Talon system in, You're going to have the foam padding in the lid, as you see here, and that same foam padding in the bottom. And you are going to take that bottom foam padding out because you're not going to need it with this Talon system. All right, the first thing we got to do is put this in the bottom of our case. And if you want to put an air tag in, now's the time to do it. You're going to put that in right there. And if you look here, you see these cutouts, and those are actually going to fit this case. That's why you have to make sure when you order this to order it specifically for the case that you have. One other really cool feature on this is there is a little pull tab on this end that you can grab and pull this out. So all you're going to do is open this up, and you're going to sit this right in the bottom, just like that. It's a nice tight fit. It's not loose. Did a really good job cutting this out. All right, I went ahead and grabbed my Anderson Frontline 16, and I've moved it all the way down to this end of the case because we still have to put our mag carrier in here and a pistol. So we're going to take one of our arrow blocks, and we're going to put this right here, just like that, and stick that down, and that is not going anywhere with that Velcro. And we're going to take one of our diamond blocks, and we're going to put this right here, right up against the optic. And then we're going to take this one and wedge it right up against the optic. And then we're going to take another arrow block, and we're going to pin it right here against the lower. And as you can see, this is not going anywhere. And if you need to make any adjustments, it's just as easy as grabbing one of these blocks and pulling it off, and you can position things the way you want it. All right, I decided to switch things up a bit. I moved the rifle up closer to the top of the case so we can install our mag carrier. And we're going to just put this right here like this. Same thing. This is not going anywhere. I've got one of my Amend 2 Mod C mags. Let's stick this in there. Oh yeah, very nice. Now we got a P mag because I know this is what most people use. No issues there, that fits. And I have a Duramag. Same deal. Now we do have a little bit of play with these mags. We got more with the Duramag than the P mag or the Amend 2 Mod C mag. But that's a good thing because that means you can fill these mags up to capacity and they're going to fit right in there. All right, now we're down on the other end of the case, and we're going to go ahead and install our pistol blocks. Now, I've got my carry gun here, my Ross Martin RM1C Comped. So what we're going to do is put one of these down just like that, and that is where we're going to put the bottom of our grip. We're going to grab another one and put it right here behind the optic. We're going to take this one, put it up at the front of the muzzle, and then we're going to just pick up on this a little bit, and we're going to lock this right in where the light goes, and there you go. This is not going anywhere. Rock solid. This is really awesome. Super cool how you can just put anything any way you want it, move anything where you want it. I'm really liking this. All right, now we're going to close our lid and make sure everything locks down. Perfect. All right, now what we're going to do is pick this up. I want to make sure everything is going to stay in place. But what I do want to do is kind of simulate beating this around, because let's say we go to the airport. This thing is probably going to take quite a beating. Let's do it a couple more times. And let's see if anything moved. Nice. Nothing shifted. This is really, really awesome. All right, I got a couple more things I want to go over before we get into my final thoughts on this Corvus USA Talon system. And what I want to talk about are the blocks. So this is the arrow block, and it doesn't matter if it's the arrow block, the diamond block, or even the mag carrier, is that in the top of these blocks, they have these little accent caps. Now this is the one that came with it, but what's super cool is when you get on their website, they have different styles of accent caps. Most of them are some variant of a black and a gray. You got carbon fiber look. There's a lot of different ones. This was actually one of my favorites. This is like a blue digital camo, which is really, really cool. So if you want to change that accent cap, you just grab it and pull it right out of there. And then I can replace them with the blue digital camo. Now I just need to get them to make some red and black digital camo for me. And the other thing I wanted to point out was when you go to close the case, as you can see in this picture, if you just close the lid, it's still popped up about 3/4 to an inch. And what that does is once you push that down and lock your handles down, that gives you all that stability. Even though those blocks are Velcroed down, the lid of your case compresses them even more. And that's why when I was bouncing this up and down off the table, nothing shook free. And then the last thing I'm going to point out is if you want to put something else in that case and it's got a Velcro bottom, like a patch or whatever, you can do that. So you might have some mag carriers for some of your pistol mags. You could put a piece of Velcro on the back side of that carrier and stick it right in the case. So my final thoughts on this Talon system, it's absolutely awesome. One thing that we haven't seen a lot here lately in the firearms world is innovation, and I think this is a very innovative product. And when it comes to cons, I really don't have any with this system. And I guess if I had to point out some cons, it would just be, I hope that this takes off for these guys and that we see a lot of different options added to the website over time. For instance, I'd like to see an AK mag carrier, or maybe some different carriers for some of the more popular pistol mags. And I would definitely like to see some more cases added in the future. So I really want to thank Corvus USA for sending this out to the channel for me to do a review on. And one other super cool thing about this company is they're actually from Columbus, Ohio. So they're only about an hour south of me. And I love supporting Ohio gun and accessory companies. Now, since we're on YouTube, we can't talk prices, but what I am going to do is if you go to my website, go to the weekly deals section, and I'll have a direct link to Corvus USA's website, and you can go over there and check out all the prices and case compatibility and all that good stuff. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.